Hey YouTube, and welcome to this episode of the Gunman. So this video here, I'll be taking you guys through the paintwork on this Bullbar. So just a small job for you. I'm actually making this because a guy asked. He specifically said, man, have you got any video footage of painting tubular stuff? So yes, this kind of thing can be a little bit tricky. I'm going to include as many tips and tricks as I can for best results on painting tubular stuff. So yeah, the main issue that you have is the spray gun naturally really wants to paint things that are flat, not tubular. So you've got to just keep in mind where you have and haven't hit. Basically, I like to leave it at full fan. You might think, oh, but you know, probably 70% of the paint is going to waste. I find that if you close that fan up too much, well, then you could end up actually concentrating all that paint out of that gun in that one spot and more likely of getting runs. Now, back in this day, I never had any half-decent miniguns. No miniguns that I would have trusted to paint a job like this. Looking back on it now, I'm thinking, you know what? If I had my ANI R150T minigun at this point, the 1.0mm, I would have actually painted it with that. These can sometimes be a little bit overkill to use a full-size gun because they just pump out that little bit too much paint and the fan's probably a little bit too big. But as I say, you close that fan up a bit and you're just concentrating too much paint in that one section. But it's all in gun control. It literally is. That's what I was told when I was an apprentice. It's all in the just gun control. You've got to learn how to use that gun and be comfortable with it in your hand. As you can see, I'm moving around quite quickly. I don't like going too slow because then you end up getting sort of dry spots. And look, the way I see your base coat as well, your base coat is basically a trial run for your clear coat. If you don't get that on 100% perfect, it's quite forgiving. Plus I'm using solvent-based base coat here, so you know, if I was to get real bad dry spray or any problems, you know, you could actually sand it out and reapply. You wouldn't have too many major issues. Yeah, I also like to start from the inside. You probably noticed that. Starting from the inside and then working your way to the outside and the front, say the areas that you're gonna like first see. You know, that inside section, if there's a very slight amount of dry overspray or anything like that, it's not going to jump straight out at you because it's basically going to be unseen. So the paint that I am using is the Standox Basis Lac, so the solvent-based base coat system, and I cannot even actually remember the name of the color, but from memory it was just a silver straight off the shelf. So one of the fine silvers that's going to cover better. I've found that with the silvers, the finer the flake, the better coverage you're going to get, because the coarser flakes, they've got more binder in there, so yeah, you're trying to get binder to cover, whereas with the finer silvers, they've got heaps more metallic particles in there, so they're going to cover a lot easier. So sometimes, even if I was to use a coarse metallic, I'd put a ground coat down, whether or not it be like a grey or even another silver sometimes works well, and then you just put a couple of coats of your coarse one over the top and off you go. But anyway, as you see, I'm straight onto my clear coat now. Clear coat I am using is the Duke Zone Plus 2K Clear, just an MS clear. I'm using that through my DeWilbers GTI Pro Light TE20 air cap on it and the 1.3mm fluid tip on it. I do apologise about some of this footage. It may not be the best, like a little bit out of focus, so I did edit it down to try and improve that for you. Look, to be honest, I really 99% sure that I wouldn't have actually made a video on this, but there was one guy, as I mentioned earlier, he made a mention that he wanted to see how I painted a Bullbar or some tubular stuff. So I just thought, you know what, I've got a bit of time on my hands and I've got the footage there. If I don't get onto it now, it'll probably never get edited up, so I thought, yeah, I may as well do it. So I hope you are watching. To be honest, I can't even remember your username. I get so many comments every single day. But yeah, so as you see, just full fan, you know. There is a little bit of wastage, but the way I see it is you get that, you know. And yep, hindsight, I should have gone and bought myself one of those ANI miniguns or even one of those SRI Pro lights. The other one that I did make a review on was the Star Evo T minigun. That was a 1.2mm, and that was pretty good minigun. But yeah, I've got a little bit more faith these days in the miniguns than what I did when I was doing this, because the ones that I had previously, they really weren't that good. They were 0.8mm, and that I just saw a minigun as being something that you'd really just do like a a blow-in, like a emergency type spot repair, and you just use it to get you out of trouble when you're doing something, just sort of on a Friday afternoon at 4 o'clock and the car's going at 4:30 and you just want to get a small amount of paint on there. But yeah, from what I know now about the miniguns that they do have on the market, you can actually use them for bigger projects like stuff like this. You can use them on exterior panels, you can use them on bumper bars, and they're extremely more efficient than this. You can see the amount of overspray I've got there. If I had been using a 1mm, 1.2mm minigun, I would be getting a fraction of the amount of overspray. I'd be saving a lot more paint and reducing my risk of runs because it is more precise. So you're probably not getting the amount of paint out, but you're getting it more targeted to those areas that you want them in. You know what, spray painting and life is a learning thing. I'm constantly learning. It's up to you, I guess. You got to do the same thing. Just find what works for you and evolve. If you've got anything you can say that you think I could do better, I'm open to anything like that. I might tell you to get stuffed. I might say, man, that's a totally awesome idea. Again, I kept those gun settings for this Pro Light for the full size gun the same as if I was painting any normal panel. So just had it full fan, 3.5 turns out on your fluid, 25 psi, and keep the gun nice and close and move fairly quickly. You don't want to be holding the gun 30 centimeters away and moving at a snail's pace. You're only going to go through more paint. And I do look at this job and personally say, I could have improved on this. I could have probably saved a couple of mils of paint, but you know what? The main thing is that the job went, it looked fine, and it didn't have to get redone. It's not like I had to fix anything on it. Yep, I used a little bit of extra clear, but this clear really is cheap as, we did do a bit of a rough price up on it, and from memory it was like $20 or $25 a litre. So yeah, the Duke Zone is really a cheap clear, but I find it's actually quite a good quality clear. It gets a nice finish on it, it seems to last, and I'm happy with the end result. Hope you guys have enjoyed watching this video. If you have, make sure you do give it a big thumbs up. There's links to all my social media in the descriptions down below. Be sure to share your thoughts on this job, or if you've got anything that you think you could add, something that you think I may have missed, make sure you leave that in the comments below. So as you see here, I just decided to put a little bit of subframe black just over the inside of it just to tidy it up. So I gave the entire thing a good bake out for 45 minutes. And it turns out that I was just so busy at the end of this job, I didn't even get any footage of it when it was back on the car. I was most likely in the next booth spray painting the next car, and the car was getting washed. Be sure to check out my website, thegunman.net.au. I have been recently upgrading that site and making it much more user friendly. I've been including lots more information, including pictures and full-length blogs. Now you've seen this video, get out there and paint some shit. Thanks for watching, and this has been another Gunman production. Goodbye.